To begin our word problem, remember our first step, regardless if we have one or two variables, is to read the problem at least 3 times. Now, when I go through this problem, as in the past, what I have done is highlight the information that is going to help us solve the equation. So you've got quite a bit of information, a lot of numbers up here. Now that we've read it and we understand it, this is the type of question which I find is really good to go through and in step number 2 when we're trying to introduce the variables, and that is to draw a diagram. Now in this case, we have the theater, and we know for the theater in total, if we sell all the seats, it's $22,500, and it has 400 seats for a total. Now that theater is made up of 2 types of seats. It's made up of the orchestra, and it's made up of the balcony. Now we do know that the orchestra seats are $60 and the balcony seats are $45, and that there are a total of 400 in the theater. Now what I'm going to do on this diagram, I could also say let X equal the number of orchestra seats and let Y equal the number of balcony seats, but it's enough to do it in a diagram like this. It's a great visual to help you to be able to solve the problem when we go into the next step, and that is translate the information. Now in our third step, where we're going to translate the information, we know that based on our diagram, the number of orchestra plus the number of balcony is going to be equal to 400. We also know that the number of orchestra seats, which is $60 a piece, plus the balcony, which is $45 a piece, if we were to sell all those, the total would be $22,500. Now, when we look at those 2 equations, we know we want to eliminate the variable eventually, so we're going to have to do some manipulation there. So in number 4, and we kind of put steps 3 and 4 together here. As you notice, as you go through the more word problems, you'll do that step-by-step process automatically without thinking. So the first thing we're going to do in step number 4 here, we're just going to have our algebraic equations, which we already have. So now that we have those, we're going to go right into step number 5. Now, I want to be able to add these together so that I can eliminate a variable. So the first thing I'm going to do to this equation right here is I'm going to multiply it by negative 60. That's going to give us negative 60x, negative 60y is equal to negative 24,000. And then I can go ahead and bring down this equation, and I'm just going to write it here again so I have it immediately in front of me here. And I'm going to add these 2 equations together, and what's going to happen is my 60s will cancel, and I'm left with a negative 15y is equal to negative 1,500. Now I know if I divide both sides by negative 15, my value of y comes out to be 100. Now, looking at this, it wanted to know how many orchestra seats are available, and that actually happens to be my x variable, not my y. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go through and substitute. My y is equal to 100. So if I go up to, let's look at this equation right here. And I know if I substitute y is equal to 100 here, I'll have x plus 100 is equal to 400, and that would mean that my apologies, I'm running off the screen here, x is equal to 300. Okay. Now I don't want to answer the question yet. I'm not ready to do that yet. Now remember, before we're ready to answer the question, we have to make sure that in fact our variables that we solve for, x is equal to 300 and y is equal to 100, we want to make sure that when we substitute those back into the second equation, they are in fact correct. So we have 60 times 300 plus 45 times 100 is equal to 22,500. That will give us 18,000 plus 4,500 is equal to 22,500. 18,000 plus 4,500 would give us 22,500 is equal to 22,500, and that is correct. So we have verified that those are in fact our answers. In the original equation, it was asking us the number of orchestra seats we're going to have. So therefore we can, now we are ready to answer, and we'll say therefore the number of orchestra seats is 300. Remember, it's important to know, as we had denoted back in our original diagram, what X and Y are. In this case, X was the number of orchestra seats, and it's asking us for those, so we answered with a value of 300.